Chapter 1: What makes you ambitious? There is a common belief that genes and upbringing have a huge influence on whether someone is ambitious or not. Yet, it isn't that simple. Children of billionaires can either follow their parents' tracks and build another successful billion-dollar company, or the cozy life can turn them into vain and unproductive people. Children born in poor families can inherit learned helplessness and stay poor just like their parents. Or their hunger for success will drive them to improve their situation. If there is one thing we can say about upbringing and ambitions, it's that there is no clear correlation between your background and what you are going to achieve in life. Some anthropologists suggest that members of the upper middle class are most driven to achievement. Unlike the poor, they are not struggling to get by. And unlike the rich, they still feel hunger to achieve more. However, it still doesn't explain why many wealthy people still strive for more and why some people coming from a poor background overcome their unfavorable circumstances. There are several reasons we will investigate in this chapter. Since we can't change our background and upbringing, we will focus only on the causes we can directly control. Examples around you. Let's start with the most obvious cause, social modeling. According to the social learning theory, learning takes place in a social context. You can adapt new behaviors purely through observation. If you have ever changed one of your behaviors because you observed it in your friends, say you started wearing collared shirts on a daily basis because that's how your friends dress, it's social modeling at work. Everything that surrounds you on a daily basis has an influence on you. Rolf Dobelli, best-selling author of The Art of Thinking Clearly, wrote an essay about the influence of news on your life. He writes that news triggers your limbic system, almost as if you were constantly on the lookout for threats. This heightened state of awareness leads to chronic stress, a deregulated immune system, fear, and aggression. And that's just the result of watching or reading news. People who surround you have a much stronger impact on your behavior, including whether you are ambitious or avoid any challenges. Fortunately, we can choose what examples we allow in our lives. The first and most easily accessible source of the right examples is books. Many successful people, Peter Diamandis, Tony Robbins, and Tim Ferriss, to name a few, credit books as the number one reason for their success in life. One simple change, replacing news and mass media with books, can produce dramatic changes in your life. No matter what your ambition in life is, you can find books that will inspire you to work on your goals. Direct, in-person influence of successful people is another source that can fire you up to achieve big things in your life. However, meeting successful people is not as easy as buying a book. Unless you live in the Silicon Valley or any other place populated with successful people you want to emulate, it takes much more work to find them. Thankfully, the internet makes it extremely easy to interact with such individuals. Although meeting these people in person will have a much more powerful impact on you, talking with them online is still a viable way to light the fire inside you. Studies show that observing people you view as similar to you improves your self-efficacy, the strength of the belief in your abilities, which I discussed in my book Confidence, How to Overcome Your Limiting Beliefs and Achieve Your Goals, more than watching people with whom you don't share as much. In other words, you'll get more fired up by watching people similar to you succeed than by watching people who are much more skilled than you. Please note, it doesn't mean you learn more from them. It's best to emulate the most successful people. I'm a huge fan of online communities like forums, membership sites and groups on social media sites. Since they are populated by people at all levels of competence, you can easily find people just a little better than you who will motivate you to raise your standards. It's easier to relate to and get motivated by an entrepreneur who has gone from $1,000 per month to $5,000 per month in a span of 6 months than from a billionaire who has launched yet another $1 million business. Watching a person who successfully loses 50 pounds and changes her life is more inspirational than listening to a fitness coach with a perfect body. Surrounding yourself with empowering books and people on a daily basis will put you into a positive state that will inspire you to raise your standards. Please keep in mind it's a process of conditioning and it's never ending. Stay away from negativity. Since we tend to process negative information more thoroughly than good feedback, it's crucial to reduce or eliminate negative stimuli from our lives. People who discourage you from setting big goals decrease your motivation more effectively than empowering people increase it. If you have ever shared a big goal with someone and she told you, "Get real, you'll never achieve it," you probably understand how much more destructive it is than words of encouragement. It's not always possible to eliminate toxic relationships from your life, but the less time you spend with these people, the better it will be for both your mental health and personal success. Be aware of your surroundings and try to replace the bad influence with positive feedback. If you find it extremely hard to distance yourself from the negativity, consider moving to a different place and starting anew. Your energy and a sense of urgency. There are two kinds of ambitious people, people who have big goals and act on them, and people who say, "One day I will do X, but never do it." The difference between these two kinds of people is, among others, their level of energy and urgency. British billionaire Richard Branson, when asked about his secret of productivity, gave a surprisingly simple answer: workout. It's his physical wellness that keeps his brain sharp and his body ready to constantly travel all over the world, build new industry-changing businesses and solve some of the world's biggest problems. Perhaps it sounds cliché, but physical well-being is indeed one of the keys to success. If you don't demand much from your body, how much more will you demand from yourself in other areas of your life? If your body doesn't work on the highest level, how are you supposed to work on the big goals? The second difference between someday people and people who take action right away is their sense of urgency. What drives them to achieve more is their perception of time. Life is short, and they want to make the most out of it. Hence, they set big goals. They don't have time to work on small thinking, because it's only the bold ideas that will lead to exponential results. There is also another reason why ambitious action takers are so driven to do everything right now instead of waiting for the right time. We will discuss it in more detail in the second chapter. Your needs. Poor people who struggle to get by can't afford the luxury of high ambitions. It's hard to think big when you are not sure if you can pay the bills or afford to buy food this month. The constant fight to stay afloat robs you of the energy to think in the long term. Maslow's hierarchy of needs suggests that self-actualization, the drive to achieve your full potential, and self-transcendence, giving yourself to higher goals like spirituality or altruism, can only happen if all other, lower needs, food, shelter, security, a sense of belongingness, etc., are satisfied first. For reference, here is Maslow's hierarchy of needs in a graphic form. Self-actualization, self-transformation, achieving full potential, altruism, spirituality. Esteem, respect, recognition, self-confidence, freedom. Love and belonging, family, friendship, intimacy. Safety needs, personal security, financial security, health and well-being. Physiological needs, air, shelter, water, food, sex. If you want to achieve big things, but you can't motivate yourself to work on them, perhaps you are lacking one of the lower needs. If you are fortunate enough to read this book, we can eliminate the most basic needs like food, shelter, and safety. There are two groups of needs that might block you from thinking big: a sense of belongingness and esteem. The feeling of being loved, both sexually and non-sexually, is a basic need that is much more important than the quest to reach your full potential. If, on some level, you feel lonely, your first step toward becoming more ambitious could be working on this aspect of your life. Please note, I am not qualified to give you psychological or psychotherapeutic advice. If you struggle with social anxiety, the feeling of being unloved, or depression due to a lack of intimacy, speak with a trained psychologist or psychiatrist. Esteem is the second need that, if unmet, will overpower your need for self-actualization. For years, I was an extremely shy person. My crippling shyness cast a shadow on my life and blocked me from realizing my full potential. It was only when I overcame shyness that I observed dramatic changes in other areas of my life and could focus on the bigger goals. Low self-esteem, the feeling that you are worse than other people, will lead you to self-sabotage. Until you become more confident of your self-worth, achieving bold goals will be too big of a challenge to you, as you will underestimate your abilities. If you feel inferior to others or you are extremely shy, solving these problems is more important than learning how to become more ambitious. Shyness will stand in your way your entire life. Until you fix it, it won't be likely you'll achieve your big dreams. Take it from a person who was there and knows how poisoning it is. What makes you ambitious? Quick recap. 1. Things and people who surround you influence how ambitious you are. Reading books and surrounding yourself with other ambitious people are two of the most effective ways to light a fire in your belly. 2. Negative stimuli are more powerful at discouraging you than words of encouragement are at motivating you. Consequently, it's crucial to avoid or eliminate from your life people whose behaviors and opinions put you down. 3. Physical wellness is one of the keys of people who think big. If you don't have enough energy, you won't have enough motivation to put your plans into action. Demand from yourself the best, both physically and mentally. 4. A sense of urgency is necessary if you want to act on your goals now instead of someday. Successful people don't have time for small thinking because they want to make the most out of their time on earth. 5. You can't focus on achieving your full potential if you lack the more basic needs in your life, such as a sense of belongingness and esteem. If you suffer from shyness, social anxiety, or depression, your plan of action should start with fixing these issues. Chapter 2. What's your why or who? If you look at the most successful people, like Richard Branson or Tony Robbins, you'll quickly notice how fired up and passionate they are about their goals. They exhibit bold thinking because they are after making the biggest impact. But what is the source of this passion? The answer is simple: they have a deep internal drive, a vision that directs all their actions. Without a powerful why, big achievements are close to impossible. We all need strong internal motivation to act on our goals. It sounds simple enough, but there is much more to it than just writing down that you want to be a millionaire or drive a Lamborghini. Why is not about money and other superficial things. Various studies show that money is not the best motivator, especially after a certain level of income. A well-known paper written by Daniel Kahneman and Angus Deaton suggests that emotional well-being rises until we make $75,000 per year. Beyond this number, there is no further improvement in life satisfaction. We can draw a conclusion that past $75,000 in annual income, money, and things it can buy won't motivate you to think bigger, as it won't affect your well-being. An analysis of over 200,000 US public sector employees shows that intrinsic motives, passion, challenge, etc., are 3 times more powerful than extrinsic motives, example, money. In other words, people who focus on the job they perform are more engaged in it, i.e., more driven, than people who focus on the money they make from it. Another study on extrinsic and intrinsic motivators shows that intrinsic motivation leads to better job performance than external motivators. You care more and get better results when there is a deeper reason for what you are doing than just money. When you put too much focus on the money itself, you'll get less enjoyment from your job, which will negatively affect your well-being. However, a study conducted on entrepreneurs suggests that it's the motive of making money and not the money itself that affects subjective well-being negatively. When people want to make money because they want to keep up with the Joneses, have more power, show off, or overcome self-doubt, that's when their well-being is affected negatively. If you want to make money to help your parents, take care of your family, or help those in need, it won't affect your well-being negatively. What does all of this research tell us? First and foremost, if you want to become more driven to realize your full potential, don't focus on money as your sole motivation. Find a deeper reason why, your intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is about enjoyment, fulfillment, or challenge, anything that comes from within you rather than the influences outside of you. Richard Branson has powerful intrinsic motivation. My interest in life comes from setting myself huge, apparently unachievable challenges and trying to rise above them. Secondly, if your goal is somehow related to a specific amount of money, example, you'd like to make enough money to buy a boat and sail around the world, break it down into emotions you are after. You are not after the boat itself, you are after the thrill, the sun on your face, the calmness of the sea, the smell of the ocean in the morning, and pure enjoyment of the adventure. It's thinking about these things that will fire you up rather than thinking about the act of buying a boat or what kind of an interior your boat will have. Last but not least, if you have been working on a certain goal only because you are motivated by an extrinsic reward, say you want to show off in a Lamborghini, reconsider your goal and change your motivator. It can be your who, not only why. Your motivation can get even stronger when instead of thinking about something from which you'll benefit, it will be someone else, usually your significant other or a family member. A paper by Professor and best-selling author of Give and Take, a revolutionary approach to success, Adam Grant suggests that the desire to help others, prosocial motivation, makes us go the extra mile and work even more effectively than if we had intrinsic motivation alone. For this reason, finding your who, the person for whom you are striving to achieve a big goal, can be even better than finding your why. If you already have a vision that draws from intrinsic motivators, consider adding prosocial motivation. If you have a goal to build $1 million business to challenge yourself, find a reason why it's going to make a positive difference in the world and make it a part of your vision. Elon Musk, co-founder of PayPal, founder of Tesla Motors and SpaceX, is a perfect example of a person driven by prosocial motivation. He said, going from PayPal, I thought, well, what are some of the other problems that are likely to most affect the future of humanity? Not from the perspective, what's the best way to make money, which is okay, but it was really, what do I think is going to most affect the future of humanity? If you are interested in developing a powerful motivation as an entrepreneur, I talk about it in more detail in my book Self-Discipline for Entrepreneurs. Write it down. If you have been trying to motivate yourself to work on a certain goal, write down your vision. If you have written it properly, meaning it fires you up so much you are restless, you should no longer struggle with procrastination. When writing your vision, go into deep details of what you want to achieve. Describe not only the achievement itself, but also how it makes you feel and what kind of a person you have become while working on it. The more senses and perspectives the vision will contain, the more powerful it will be. Here is an example of a weak sentence in a vision. I own a multimillion-dollar business that is the leader in the industry. Here is an example of how you can fix it. I own a multimillion-dollar business that is known for the passion it brings to the market. It brings a smile to my face just to think about it. Whenever I speak with my employees and partners, I'm fired up and feel immense hunger to improve our products and make the lives of our clients even easier. There is nothing in the world I love doing more than speaking with our clients and learning from their feedback. The constant growth makes me a better person and positively affects the lives of my wife and children. After writing the first draft of your vision, each time you read it again, the motivational effect will get weaker until it mostly serves as a reminder of your goals with a slight motivational boost. Here is where routines come into play. The importance of a morning routine. Writing down your vision alone won't do much to change your long-term motivation. In order to fully benefit from this practice, you need to establish a morning routine to prepare you for the day ahead and remind you of your big goal. In his interview with Tim Ferriss, Tony Robbins explains how he primes himself for the day ahead and is ready to work on his goals even after 2 hours of sleep. After meditative practice, toughening up, cold exposure, and expressing gratitude, he spends the next 10 minutes thinking about his vision. It's a habit he has been practicing for several decades. Looking at his accomplishments, I'd say it's working exquisitely well for him. While you don't necessarily have to follow the exact same morning routine as Tony, thinking about your vision is a practice you shouldn't skip. However, there is an important caveat: don't let the false sense of achievement coming from envisioning your goal make you lazy. Studies show it's the visualization of the process that's more important than thinking about the event itself. For the best results, your vision should include the actions you need to take to achieve it and then the event to which it will lead. I personally start each day with expressing gratitude. I think about 3 things I'm grateful for: meditation to clear my mind and start the day slowly, and foam rolling, a form of stretching to relax the muscles. When I'm in this more awake and relaxed state of mind, I reread my vision and other documents describing my goals, helping me prepare for the day ahead. Why the proper mindset is paramount to thinking bigger. The most important thing I have learned over the years of making changes in my personal and business life is the pivotal role of mindset in achievement. Many people think that if they just had X or Y, they would most certainly succeed. Sorry, buddy, that's not how it works. There is no going past the mindset part. If your head is filled with self-doubt, it will find a way to make you sabotage your efforts. A cliché, misattributed Henry Ford quote, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right, is correct. There is no substitute for the certainty that you can achieve your goal. Your mind will either help you achieve your goal or sabotage you. It gives you exactly what you feed it. Give it self-doubt, and you will get self-defeat. Give it empowering thoughts, and it will be your best path. By creating your vision, and most importantly, rereading it every single day and visualizing the outcome, your mindset will shift and your physiology will reflect it. You'll get more energized to work, you'll increase your discipline, and you'll get more focused and fired up to keep going. This is not just feel-good talk. It works better than any other success secret if you only implement it in your life. I can't stress the importance of the mindset enough. Nothing matters without the proper conditioning of your mind. For the best results, combine visualizing the outcome with an NLP technique called anchoring, associating an internal feeling with an external trigger. Let's say your goal is to lose 50 pounds and start running marathons. You visualize the process and the outcome, and your mind slowly fills up with positive emotions associated with achieving this goal. You feel energized, pumped up to put on your shoes and go running, ready to do whatever it takes to make your vision come true. At the peak of this emotion, perform a certain gesture you'd like to associate with this state. For instance, it can be squeezing your knuckle or grabbing your wrist. The key here is to perform the exact same gesture each time you feel this specific state. It will reinforce your anchor. Once you repeat this process enough times, over the span of several days or weeks, you will be able to access this resourceful state at will. You can perform a similar process for any other emotion you'd like to reaccess with a specific trigger: relaxation, determination, creativity, joy, and so on. If you were to remember just one thing from this book, it's this short subchapter: every single day, develop more certainty in your abilities to succeed. Put yourself in a prime state by visualizing and anchoring. Cultivate rituals. Having a vision and a morning routine are two keys to optimizing your life and starting each day on the right note. However, nothing will happen if you don't actually take action toward achieving your goals. Here is where rituals make all the difference. Many people are focused on the event, while it's the process that leads to success. Weight loss pills, overnight millionaire programs, and short-term diets are all targeted at people who believe change can happen with a single event. Your rituals make you the person you are. No lasting change can happen in your life unless you change them first. When I was an overweight person, my rituals were completely different than they are now that I'm a fit and lean individual. I ate mostly junk food and didn't exercise a lot. I still remember saying, I don't care if it's healthy. All I care about is if it's tasty. No surprise that I was 30 pounds overweight. I'm sure that if somebody took away all my excess weight, I would regain it all, and then some, in a few months. There is no way to make a permanent change to your body if you don't change your mindset. When I changed my rituals, By applying permanent changes to my diet and incorporating exercise in my daily routine, I started losing weight and never regained it. Today, my routines are the total opposite of who I was back then. What kind of rituals do you have in your life and how do they affect your growth? Do they hinder it or empower you? If they don't serve you, change them. Charles Duhigg's book The Power of Habit will teach you how to change your habits and incorporate new rituals. If you want to improve your general self-discipline, I suggest reading my book Daily Self-Discipline, Everyday Habits and Exercises to Build Self-Discipline and Achieve Your Goals. What's your why or WHO? Quick recap. 1. Big achievements are impossible without strong internal motivation. 2. Intrinsic motivators like fulfillment, enjoyment, and contribution are much more powerful than extrinsic motivators like money, fame or power. If you want to get fired up to work on your goals, discover a reason that comes from within you, not the pursuit of status or money. 3. If your goal can't be achieved without making a lot of money, tie it to the emotions you'll get from your purchase and not the purchase itself. 4. Prosocial motivation, the desire to help others, is a more powerful motivator than intrinsic motivation. Consider adding a who to your why. 5. When writing down your vision, make it as detailed as possible by using different senses and perspectives. It has to be so good that you can't wait to act on your goals. 6. The purpose of having a written vision is to make it easier to think about it every single morning. The way you wake up will affect your entire day, so make it count and develop your own empowering morning routine. 7. Your mindset is paramount to success. If you don't have the proper mindset, you won't achieve your goals. Empower yourself by visualizing your outcome and anchoring positive states. 8. Your life is the sum of your rituals. Successful people have completely different rituals than complacent individuals. Change your rituals to change your life. Thank you. Please like, share and subscribe our channel. Have a nice day.